So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the cleaning. I went ahead and I opened the door all the way. I'm gonna go ahead and spray it. This cloth I'm gonna use to dry the inside of my freeze dryer also, so I'm gonna spray the inside of my door with just a mist of water before I worry about cleaning the rest of this. And also that new car smell, it's there. Ugh. So I can't wait to get that out using that bread run. So just gonna do a quick spray to the inside of my door with some just plain old water. And then I'm going to get that dried off. Well, yeah, I was worried about that. My brother-in-law did warn me that these doors seem really loose. Well, that's because this gasket, you might want to adjust it a little forward, a little back. And so that movement in the door allows for that gasket to be adjusted a little bit. So that way you can make sure you're getting a seal on your freeze dryer. So if that door is a little loose, that's normal. Expect that. That's the way it's supposed to be. So in order to clean my brand new rack and the inside of the freeze dryer, I'm going to have to pull the unit out and unplug it so I can wash that down with just some barely soapy water. I'm using Dawn dish soap. And then I'm going to spray the whole thing down with I went out and bought the cheap grain alcohol to sanitize stuff as well. I know it says you can use isopropyl, which is cheaper, and you can potentially use vinegar. I like the idea of just using something I'm supposed to ingest in the first place over the isopropyl and the vinegar. You hear people ruining their pumps with pickles and stuff, so I'm worried about using vinegar to clean the inside too. However, my brother-in-law tells me otherwise. We'll see if I want to keep up with the expense of buying the grain alcohol or buy the gallon of vinegar instead as I keep up this hobby. So I'm going to go ahead and get this unit pulled out so we can wash the inside out. So I think I have to remove the gasket here, which I'm just going to set on top of my machine. And then I can pull the unit out. And the cord is right there. You're going to have to hold on to it. And you simply have to click on one piece. I don't know if you can see that, but I just clicked on this top piece here, and then that just disconnects. So you can pull this out, and I can clean my shelves in the barrel. We're gonna just get that wiped out a little bit with some light soapy water, and I'm gonna spray it with my alcohol. I'm even gonna wipe here where my gasket's supposed to go, make sure that's good and clean. There's no dust on it from shipping. Just trying to get all the dust out of here. Wipe down my tray holder, because again, anything that you're going to be using with food, you should always wash it before you use it. So go ahead and wipe that down. I can get my hands, I've got small hands, I can get my hands in the side here. So I put my green alcohol, there we go. So just a quick mist is all I'm going to do there. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick mist to where I want to put my gasket back on, just to be on the safe side. I want all of that clean. I don't want any kind of germs as I get started on this for the first time ever. The gasket itself, I'm going to wipe down just with, again, a pretty dry soapy rag, just to make sure it's clean. Things will seal properly. Cleaned out the inside of my freeze dryer. I cleaned off the racks. I cleaned the gasket. So I need to put the rack back in. Again, this just plugs in. I'm noticing these rubber bands seem to have rolled up a little bit, so I'm trying to put those back in place, the gasket for that. Before I plug this in, I'm assuming this will help keep moisture out of the plug to keep your machine running smoothly. So there we go. I've got that plug back in. I heard it click. So I will carefully make sure that stays out of the way a little bit as I slide this unit back into my machine. Notice the orange heating pads are up top. I'm going to set the trays directly on the metal, not on the orange. I'm gonna make sure that's level. Then I can put my door gasket back on, which I have never done before, so stick with me as I figure that out. I thought I had it in the groove. There we go. Tilting it up to get it on that first time. It's probably a good idea. I'm not gonna push that back on 100% of the way, because again, I wanna make sure I get that door seal, so I'm gonna make sure that's pulled forward just a touch. Make sure I get a good door seal when I'm ready to run these first tests. And I might even have it too far out. There we go, the first click. Now that's not meaning it's hooked yet. You have to keep turning that all the way to pull it in. And as I look around, I do see a seal all the way around on my gasket. So I got that put back in correctly. So now it's time to run the initial tests. Okay, we're to the part we've all been waiting for, turning on our machine for the first time. A little scary. We've all seen the reviews, places where this doesn't work the first time through. Crossing my fingers, we're working the first time through, or we're gonna have to go back and troubleshoot. Just put the switch in the on position. Whew, kind of scary. All right, because that's what I gotta do. I've got to turn it on. And I have nothing, which means maybe I'm not, oh, there it comes. Little timely in getting turned on from the time you hit the on switch. So there's a little delay there. It's loading. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, so I am there. So I'm going to click this button, right? The one that looked like the leaves for Harvest Right. And the first thing I'm supposed to, so I'm going to click this button, right? The one that looked like the leaves for Harvest Right. And the first thing I'm supposed to do is close the drain valve. I'm gonna double check that it is closed. And the drain valve is closed. So I did double check that, and I'm supposed to put it on freeze and let it freeze for 30 minutes or more. So I've got my door fully closed. I can see I've got a seal, everything's hooked on. I'm gonna hit freeze. So right now, it sounds like a lab refrigerator. We'll be back in 30 minutes and see what happened. As you can see from looking at the screen, just checking in, we're about 10 minutes in. My room temperature is up to 77. It was 73 in here when this thing started to run, but the temperature of my machine is down to 62. So it said to let this go for half an hour, so we'll check back in about 10 minutes. Well, we're to the halfway point, and I just realized this is the tray temperature, and that's down to 54. But the actual temperature inside the machine, like the air temperature, is at -12 Fahrenheit. And my room temperature is still holding 77 with the machine running. So it did warm up this room a little bit, but it's not like it's 80 degrees in here yet. Now granted, this hasn't run a full cycle yet. This is just running the freezer. So we'll see what happens when everything's running. We'll be back shortly. Okay, we are 25 minutes in, so almost to the 30-minute runtime. It's -31 degrees Fahrenheit inside the machine. The trays are down to 35 degrees Fahrenheit. This is where making sure you run that machine before you put food in. That's why they tell you to run it first to get it cold. So that way you're not putting your frozen food, if you pre-froze, into a warm freeze dryer. So trays are at 34. My room temperature has come back down. This isn't running as hot anymore. So we'll see what it does here in about 5 more minutes. Okay, well, we made it to the 30-minute mark, and my tray temperatures would be down to 26 degrees. I'm at -40. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna turn that off for a second, because I realize I don't think I selected my pump. So I'm gonna hit done right now and give that a second. I'm gonna go to customize. That's not happening here. So the first time you press start, then I'll have to do that. So we're gonna just go ahead and wait. We're gonna go back to here, and I'm gonna turn that back on. It's still holding. I'm not gonna worry about what this is saying over here, since I know I just did that. I'm going to get the vacuum test going. So turning that vacuum on. There we go, the vacuum is coming on. pump turned on, and I need to get it below 500 millimeters of torque. So we'll see what happens here. I'll be back shortly. Okay, we are not even 5 minutes in yet, and I'm down to 915 torque, so I'm really hopeful that all's gonna be well here. As soon as that gets below 500 torque, I'm going to stop the tests. Okay, at only 7 minutes and 23 seconds in, I am below. I'm at 485 and going down torque. So I'm gonna stop the test right now. I'm gonna turn the vacuum pump off. I'm gonna turn the freezer off. I'm going to hit done. And then so I can open the door, I'm gonna have to go turn off that drain valve, right? So let's see what that's gonna look like here. Got the drain valve down here, and I'm going to turn that so it's parallel, because that's going to let the air back into the machine so I can open the door so we can get the bread run going.